Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Webby, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Speedway of Nations in Bojans and the British final in Manchester. But you could be forgiven for missing it, as there is nothing about this in the media. This, even though we are the reigning Speedway of Nations, champions. I guess nobody really expects anything different though. Still, we're not the only ones. Apparently we have a Commonwealth game starting in Brum this week. Only in Speedway and Brum. Good evening, gentlemen. I hope we're finding you all well.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Can we make the studio a bit bigger, please?
Yeah.
Yes, we're back from our COVID break, aren't we?
Back for our COVID break, yes.
Well, two are. So.
Yeah. Still got the slight roughness in the throat, but we're safe. You're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. Yeah, quite a few things happened. I mean, we'll be talking about the Speedway of Nations, the British final, and other bits and pieces as well, and whatever you guys want to talk to us about. How do they do that, Chris?
Right, okay. It looks like you've just knocked Matt's camera. So Matt's not playing with us tonight.
That's all right.
So go on, you're nearly there. Look on your screen. Look on your screen.
I'm not 6 foot, you know.
If you get it so far, that'll do. I can play with that.
Okay, I beg your pardon. Yeah. I'm just, sorry about that, folks.
I think we might leave him like that.
I look better actually. I'll just stand up and do the shot, shall I?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll sort that out. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm not worried. Oh.
I'm not worried, sir.
Look at this professionalism here.
Yeah,
Look at that.
this is all magic that happens. Not like no, I'll sort
Right.
I'll sort out what you're talking.
Okay, do you want to tell everybody how they can take part?
Okay, so if you search on Facebook for Speedway Tavern, you'll find us on all good Speedway pages and
some of the rotten ones as well.
There aren't many rotten ones really, and groups as well. So search for that. We're also live on YouTube this evening and every Tuesday. Also, if you missed tonight's show, you can find us again on Apple, Spotify, and all the other major podcast platforms. Did you like the way I multitasked then? I still managed to keep it together, didn't I?
Just about.
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably the best you've ever done that. But also, if you guys want to take part tonight, all of those platforms have got a way of messaging us, and we'll pick it up and hopefully comment on what you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Okay.
As always, we start with our own personal teams. You had a difficult night against Kings Lynn.
By all accounts, yes, I wasn't there, unfortunately. So, but in the end, with 3-point win, 49-41 against a Kings Lynn team that were quite stubborn looking at the scorecards, but in the end, Wolves just about had enough with a crucial 5-1 in 8-14.
I bet nobody picked that scoreline.
A few people did actually, about 3 or 4 people picked 49-41.
Okay.
Not you, obviously. So,
No, because I didn't pick any because I was too busy coughing.
But in the end, a big win for Wolves and a good way to bounce back from that disappointing home result against Ipswich a couple of weeks ago.
It's looking increasingly likely that Ipswich and Bellevue are going to finish top 2.
I think that looks very likely at the moment, I would say.
And with Ipswich finishing top, which I don't think we would have picked at the beginning of the season. I don't think we did pick at the beginning of the season.
Well, no, they were fancied. I personally, I wasn't one of them, but they've done better than I expected. They've got a good strong top 2, to be fair, in Doyle and Danny King. They're one of those teams. I think if they can keep it close through the meeting, then with those 2 riders coming out twice in the last 3 races.
And if Wolves make the top 4, which is looking likely,
I think the top 4 is pretty much may not be mathematically set in stone.
You would possibly expect Ipswich to choose Wolves.
Well,
given
Ipswich have been to Monmouth twice and won, then there's a very strong possibility. Bellevue may well be tempted to pick Wolves if they finish top, I think, as well, because of the fact that there'll be a good crowd. Although, of course, you'll have the big crowd with Sheffield as well. But Bellevue Wolves matches have been quite spicy in recent years with big crowds. So I think from a money spinning perspective, I certainly wouldn't be shocked if Bellevue did pick Wolves. But still a long way to go. But I think it's looking increasingly likely that Bellevue and Ipswich are the sides to beat at the moment, and Wolves and Sheffield are looking likely they're going to make up the numbers, really.
So a fairly decent week for Wolves, although it could very easily have gone the other way. A decent night's racing, I thought, at Perry Bar when they raced, and obviously people are going to be asking about the track.
It was very, very dusty, wasn't it?
It wasn't so much that it was dusty; it was dusty, but I mean, come on, we had just had
240-degree
days. And people say, and I'll before anybody says it, I've heard the comment, but it was the same at Oxford the night before, except Oxford had a big downpour before the meeting, and it's a brand new track. So there are differences. I have heard about that. Eric Riss has broken his.
I was going to say best wishes to Beric Riss. Broke it racing in Poland on Sunday. I think it was in the Bydgoszcz lunch-up meeting. So wish him all the best because he'd been having a pretty good season for Redcar. So
I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the track on Birmingham because obviously I have a little bit of first-hand knowledge, given that I work on the track a little bit. Well, I wave a red flag occasionally.
Yeah. I wouldn't really call it working. Really,
That's because you don't know what work is. How many holidays have you had this year?
I've only had the 4.
Only had the
this
4.
month.
So, so yes, there was problems with the track caused, in my humble opinion, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of anybody's imagination, by the heat baking the top, and then you just couldn't get water into the base, and so the top of it was baked hard, and it was just crumbling away in parts. I think it's entirely down to the weather, particularly on bends 3, because we've never had any problems where that happened on bend 3. Even last year we didn't have problems at that particular issue. But you know what? It got sorted quickly. I thought that both teams were sensible, not unlike what happened against a certain team up north last year. I'm never going to let it go. You know this. And it was, and in the end there was some good racing. And was you there?
There was some good racing. It didn't. I must say, a Birmingham win at one stage didn't look particularly likely because Oxford really came out of the traps quite quickly, didn't they? But it was a good win in the end for Birmingham. I think they needed that. It keeps them in the mix as far as qualification is concerned for the next round. But of course, the last 2 matches are going to be the big ask against the Pirates.
Yeah.
So
I think I can see us getting a win against them just at home. away from home, obviously, as for the rest of the season, a lot depends on the guests that we have. But I think it might be a push too far. We need to win
I need to win both
both
matches. Really,
matches.
don't they?
I want to say something about Ashley Morris as well, because there was a few comments on BSF about him saying that they were taking bets on him falling off in all 4 rides. But actually, Ashley Morris won us the match.
Yeah, he's having a tough time at the moment.
He is having a tough time, but you can't fault his effort, and he won us the match because that Heat 14-5-1 that he team rode around and just fended off everybody. That's what won us the match. So, good on you, Ashley, is all I can say for that one. Okay, so love to hear anybody else's feelings about the track.
Or any of the matches you've been to.
Any of the matches you've seen, yeah.
Particularly one away from Mildenhall fans, actually, because there's been a lot of issues, by all accounts, with the track at Mildenhall as well.
Okay.
From what I've read. But if anybody's been to Mildenhall in the last couple of weeks, I know there were a lot of problems in their meeting against Armadale last weekend, I think it was.
Right.
So, but if anybody was there or knows anything more about the situation at Mildenhall, then
we've had ridiculous weather, and that needs to be taken into account, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that Wednesday was something else. Craig Smee's getting his excuses in already. He said, "Evening all, as no show last week, missed the post about the prediction league."
He's not the only one who missed him, to be fair.
Yes, I did have a better excuse than that, though.
Yeah.
I still manage, even though I had COVID.
Yeah, but you wasn't working.
No.
To be fair, neither was I. But I was in bed. David James looking forward to Neil Middleditch's testimonial.
Yep.
And Craig Smith said the fact that the Speedway of Nations is only being shown on Discovery Plus app is a joke. This was a prime opportunity to promote the sport as champions of the world, to put it at least on Eurosport and have it mentioned in mainstream media. I don't think that's down to the BSPA that it's not on Eurosport, is it?
No.
Or the FIM, or I guess that's their decision. Is it only on the app then? I know it was on Discovery.
I know. I think the final's on Eurosport, but I don't think the other 2 rounds are. I think it's on demand. I think, which is disappointing, especially when you consider that we are the obviously going into it as the holders.
There was a little comment there about Ty Waffington that I'd like to have a look at. Do you think Waffington should be riding in the British final? Well, the short answer is I would like him to be. Preference.
I don't think it's a given that he would win it now, to be honest. Either. So it's a real. I've disappointed that he doesn't race in it. I've said before, I don't have an issue with him not riding in the league, but I do think he should race in the national championship. But that's obviously a personal opinion. I think obviously 4 or 5 years ago, if he had ridden it, would have probably been a given that he would have won it, to be fair. But I think now, with the emergence of a lot of other riders, notably the likes of Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert, of course, also isn't racing in the British final as a former winner. It would be nice for a chance for the British fans to see,
our best riders,
our best 2 riders. And obviously Bewley's racing in it, and he's of course the overwhelming favourite.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. We seem to be coming into a really business end of the season now. We've got the British final, the Speedway Nations, coming up Cardiff as well. So a lot of things happening at the moment in Speedway. And
of course the Jubilee Trophy.
Yeah.
Simon Corbett's talking about trying to get Cardiff GP tickets on the phone. I think you've
I've seen that. I decided to brave getting the tickets today, and to be fair, I've had no problems. It came straight through, but I have seen a lot of people saying that they'd ordered tickets and they weren't coming through on the phone because they're not doing the paper tickets this year. They're not printing the tickets out and posting to them like they have done in previous years. It's all obviously done on your mobile. So that's obviously the way that a lot of these big sports stadiums are going. I don't think it's a GP thing. I don't think they're in charge of that. I think it's more the stadium and the ticket sellers that are choosing to do it that way.
And not coping with the demand from the sounds of it.
Possibly not coping the demand.
Or the late demand, maybe. That's
I suppose the cynics might say, well, Speedo fans in the UK generally are of a older generation, so maybe they find the technology a bit difficult to go. I don't buy that at all.
Neither do I, being of an older generation.
Yeah.
No
I'm much
problems.
older.
But, no, I've sorted it.
Did somebody hear something then?
No.
I've sorted my tickets, so I should be.
I'm all right,
looking
Jack.
forward to that.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah. Sod the rest of
He's
you.
going to be the only one
you
there.
You can be
But
a British Speedo promoter, Chris, actually, with that.
attitude. Jeff Daniels says, having attended Aces Peterborough last night, Aces are really finding home form formidable. Despite the big scores, the racing is quality. Even the Colts are racking up big scores. Perhaps after 5 years in the NSS, we are actually getting home advantage.
I've got to say, I watched the Bellevue Kingsley match a couple of weeks ago, and even though Kingsley were never in it, it was a cracking meeting. There was some really, really good racing, despite the scoreline. So, I mean, it's good bonus for Bellevue that they're getting big wins and they're also getting good racing as well. That for me is a win-win as a Speedway supporter.
It is, yeah. Evening chaps, can finally, this is Spuddy, can tune into one live, first time for a while, looking forward to this. Glad the hot weather has eased up a bit. Love the sun for the season, but not 40 degrees plus. So a bit of cooler weather is lovely. Amen.
Yeah, don't know what it would have been like in here last week, and that's.
Oh God, I think we'd have had to have it outside on the bike.
I know a few people are going on about the sound is still a bit low. I'll try and adjust it shortly.
Yeah. Okay, so because we don't want you to deafen everybody with one of those coughs on it.
Hey?
Yeah, exactly. Leon stepped up big time recently for Beric, averaging nearly 7 in the championship, and his confidence is carrying over for Wolves now too. That paid 7 will do him the world of good last night, and on TV looked more comfortable on the inside line.
Yeah, that was definitely his best performance at Monborough in terms of his score line. And of course, obviously, we should say as well, congratulations, because of course he's now the new British Under-19 champion.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
At Red Car last week, so sure he got a great reception from the Wolves fans last night, and that'll give him a huge amount of confidence. Because I mean, obviously from when he rode at Birmingham, but he's a precocious talent.
He is, yeah.
And I think now that he's sort of beginning to learn to ride the smaller tracks, then that's only going to.
I mean, you have to think about the time that we spent in the National League. Some of the riders that we had come through that at the time, people, including probably myself, were going, well, this is going to be one for the future. This is a good one. Jack Parkinson Blackburn was one.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened. Jack Smith
yeah.
Was another. Nothing's really happened.
Yeah.
Zach Vitanek, we all know what happened there. Leon's been the only one, really.
Daniel Hume, I think, is starting making progress now, I would say.
Oh, Daniel Hume wasn't.
Yeah,
but he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Hume's, I think, he's just, from what I saw, we should be booking him as a guest. He was brilliant at the track, and I've got a lot of time for him as well. Good bloke. Okay, we want to go down a bit further. Can you turn your volume up? You're all really quiet.
I can't turn it up anymore.
Can't you turn your volume up?
My volume's up.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I can turn mine up.
Mr. David Jones.
Oh, right,
isn't it?
okay. But we seem to be just under the red, so it can't be. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. I'll try and lower it, higher it a bit more in a bit.
Snow Picks this season was confirmed at the start of the season.
Of course,
Top four faces fourth and second faces third.
So it will either be Bellevue or Ipswich then, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the choice of being punched in the face or kicked in the balls, isn't it? Really?
I think I'd rather be punched in the face, to be fair. Shall we take a
Need any
straw
volunteers?
photo?
Well, you volunteering, are you? Right?
Okay, do you want to scroll us down. There's loads of stuff there. We'll see if we can get through as much as we can. Wolves was great yesterday. Super racing in a close meeting. Jim Turrell said he thought it was his hearing. It probably is. Maybe, I don't know. Just going back to last week's Premier Pairs at Wolves, it was good racing and the track staff did a great job. And personally, I think Wolves were robbed for me. Bachelor took Morris out and a little bit naughty of Doyle to slow down Morris. Was lucky to avoid him.
I'm glad that Jeff's brought that up, actually. Troy Bachelor obviously got a bit of stick from a lot of the Wolves fans after that decision was made, and obviously after Ipswich won the meeting, he did decide to give a little bit back, and I've seen one or two people on social media saying, you know, should be kicked out of British Speedway and stuff like that. You know, you want to see riders interacting with the crowd. I've been at Monmouth.
You want to see passion.
I've been at Monmouth Green when David Norris has won races for Eastbourne and has made gestures worse than that. Yeah, I would say. And, you know, I haven't seen anybody complain. They've just laughed at him.
I bet you people will be turning up next time he races at Wolverhampton.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
You know, and
don't have a problem with it.
That's the Nicky Pedersen effect, essentially, isn't it? Birmingham was dusty on Wednesday. Close meeting throughout and a good win for us. It was an unlikely win for us at one stage. I think we was only ahead in the last heat, wasn't it? Yeah. Was it heat 14? No, heat 14 was
No, it was, because it was 3-all in the last heat, wasn't it? So.
Matt's volume is low.
I'll speak up then.
That's how we like it.
I'm saying, I've just got to go pick Chris up off the floor now.
Okay, let's keep rolling.
Sorry,
as the Cradley fans used to say. Oh, come on! I thought that deserved a little giggle.
Yeah. I'll look for an appropriate sound coming up. Probably this one. Yeah.
That's for Cradley anyway.
So. Yeah. Seen a post about Plymouth Speedway and a GoFundMe page. I was looking to donate. It asked why there's a GoFundMe page and if they couldn't claim on insurance. The owner responded very abruptly, in my opinion, asking why I'm asking such questions and see more.
And Seymour. I love Seymour.
And if I wasn't going to donate, then move along. Is it wrong to ask where your donation is going, especially with clubs struggling financially at the moment? Promoters could do a GoFundMe and still end up closing the club at the end of the season, leaving fans questioning where their money's gone, not really helping their cause.
Yeah, there was an arson attack, wasn't there, a couple of weeks ago? Mm-hmm. So
I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, it does sound as if he was being abrupt, and it's not good business to treat somebody that's potentially going to donate to you that way.
Yeah.
I without knowing any more about the situation, I really don't think I can comment anymore. I think you can tell the riders who are only doing one league in Brum. It's no coincidence Steph and Ash struggling a little at the moment due to not getting enough racing. I think that is true. Steph started the season really well, actually, but he's
then lost his place at Sheffield, of course.
Yes, so
rather harshly, I thought at the time as well.
Yeah, which will have hurt his confidence tremendously. And as we know, Speedway is a
confident sport.
There we go. Elliot says, hope we can win tomorrow. Friday will be too hard at Poole. Will be 4 guests for us and guest plus RR for Poole, I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
It's going to be difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Not impossible, no.
Nothing is in this game. But, you know, we need the win behind us and somebody pulling from the front as well. Issues at Plymouth again tonight.
Yes, Plymouth in action against Oxford. I'm just trying to find the score on that one. Mm-hmm. So
maybe Simon could elucidate what the issues are while you're
looking.
Elucidate, yeah. I don't know what it means. Next, would you like to roll on? Okay. At Kent, they have had 2 30°C meetings at Iwade. They worked so hard on Sunday, it was warm commentating on the centre green. Okay. And the final is on Eurosport. Hopefully,
yeah, the final is on, definitely.
Hopefully, we will be in it. Shall we talk about our chances in the Speedway?
Well, let's have a look at the 2 lineups first of all. Let's talk about the first meeting, of course, tomorrow, which will be see Bartosz Marslik and Jason Doyle leading their countries into action in semi-final one. So let's have a look at the lineups then. For Germany, we've got Kai Hülkenberg and Norik Blodun with Eric Riss, who was going to be the reserve. Of course, I'm not sure whether a announcement has been made as to who's going to be stepping up to replace him. Poland, Bartosz Marslik, Maciej Janowski and Patrick Dudek.
What a lineup.
Yep. USA, Luke Becker, Brock Nickel and Dylan Rummel. For Latvia, Francis Gus, Jurne Kostigovs and Oleg Milovic. Finland, Timo Lahti, Timi Salonen and Jesse Mutsonen. Australia, Jason Doyle, Max Frick and Jack Holder.
That's not a bad-looking team either, is it?
And Ukraine, Marko Levashin, Stanislav Minchuk and Velati Lizak. That's the lineup for Ukraine.
First of all, a round of applause, I think, for
Well done.
the
I don't know whether I've got all of those right to be
pronunciations there.
Well, let's have a look at that one first of all.
Favourites, Poland.
Got to find Poland, and obviously the romantics, of course, will want Ukraine to do well, of course. But you've got to be looking at Poland and Australia.
Australia, I would have thought.
To go through there. Germany might be a bit of a surprise bracket, possibly.
No.
Kai Hülkenberg and Norik Blodden. Norik Blodden's impressed me this season for his performances for Bellevue. But I think you've got to go for Australia and Poland as the favourites for that one.
I think so.
So
Particularly as Jason Doyle's in a bit of form at the moment, isn't he?
Where did Germany rank in the Speedway world?
Low.
Very, very low?
Not very, very low, but I would say lowish.
Yeah. Second tier.
Yeah.
Probably higher than who?
France.
Right,
Italy.
okay. Italy? Oh, that's a surprise.
No, they're higher than Italy.
Really?
Yeah, I would have said.
Okay.
Would you not?
I would probably say so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that could be a 9.
Okay, let's have a look at the second semi-final. Czech
So
Republic.
there's no need for you to worry about watching that because we've already told you who's going to win. So there you go.
Czech Republic, Vaclav Milic and Jankovic, and Piotr Sherlock is the third rider. Great Britain, Ty Buffington, Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley. France, Dimitri Berge, David Balago and Matti Tresario. That's a blast from the blast, of course. Matti Tresario was obviously a stalwart of British Speedway for many, many years. For Sweden, it's Freddie Lindgren, Oliver Berntsson and Victor Polvara. For the Italians, Paco Castagna, Nico Cavati and Daniel Tesari. Slovenia, you've got Mati Jovic, Nick Skorja and Anze Kamek. And Slovakia are the official last team, but they have now withdrawn from the competition because they haven't been able to put the team together. So their place has been taken by Norway, who will include Glenn Moy, Espen Soler and Lasse Fredriksson.
Right.
So where in Norway in the Speedway world?
Well, Norway haven't competed in the
Speedway of Nations.
certainly not in the Speedway of Nations. I don't think they've competed in the World Cup since the very early years, probably 2001, 2002. At one time, they had quite a reasonably competitive riders from Norway. You can probably go back to people like Sverre Harvelt in the 60s. Rune Alter, of course, obviously was Norwegian by birth, although, of course, raced on a Polish licence for most of his career, so invariably raced for Poland. But, you've got to
think that's the easiest of the two semi-finals.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? Sweden, of course, obviously have sort of been in the doldrums, haven't they, in Speedway for quite a long time now.
They've got to be thinking they're going to get through, surely.
You would have thought so, particularly on Danish soil. They're going to be fairly used to the Danish tracks. I mean, I think most of the top riders have got a lot of experience of racing in Voyens. Italy, maybe? Paco, Nico and Danny Tesori. Well, obviously we know.
Yeah, I did think that Italy could be a spoiler in that one.
Yeah.
We don't really know what Nico Cavati, what sort of form he's going to bring to it.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been riding anywhere, has he? Apart from, I think, Argentina. But you got to think as a Brit.
Well, we've got to be favourites for that.
Team GB's got to be favourites to win that one.
I think the change that they made in the Speedway of Nations as well of not having an under 21 that has really benefited the Britain team as well.
Because we can put Dan Bewley back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good top three riders to have, really, isn't it? Ruffington, Lambert, and Bewley.
Yeah.
So
You would say so. So coming to the final, obviously Denmark is included. We don't really know what the team is. We haven't been able to find out.
Well, I'm fairly certain Leon Madsen is going to be the.
You would have thought so.
Yeah, I mean Hans Nielsen obviously is the Danish team manager, and he's certainly talking up their chances. It's been quite a number of years now since Denmark, were last on top in the Speedway world, if you like.
So you have to wonder. Conspiracy theories coming out already from me. You have to wonder, as a Danish team manager, is the track on the final day going to be completely different to the track on the semi-finals?
Quite possibly.
Possibly a lot slicker.
Yeah.
We shall see. But if it is, you heard it here first.
But a win, back-to-back wins for Great Britain would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Wow.
Well, we haven't.
It'd be all over the newspapers, won't it?
Let's not get too carried away.
For a day?
No, not even for a minute.
No.
Yeah, I mean we haven't won on a major, tournament on foreign soil since I think the last time was '84, which was the pairs.
Yes, Collins and
Collins
Carter.
Collins and Morton. I think
Collins
it was
and Morton.
in '84. 38 years ago. So it's a long time, long overdue. And I think if we can go and win a major trophy on foreign soil, because we've done it on our own track, but if we can do it on an overseas track as well, I think that would be a massive step in the right direction.
It still won't be on the. It's quite ironic, I think. I was saying this to somebody last Wednesday. It's quite ironic, I think, that in British Speedway at the moment, we're probably at the lowest ebb we've been since ever, and yet internationally, we've got a lot of good riders out there.
Yeah.
Hey ho.
Yeah.
Only in British Speedway. Hello.
Okay, so I've had a lady called Nicola Goldman ask me, would I give a shout out to Chesil Radio, who was sponsoring the Isle of Wight meeting on Thursday and radio broadcasting live the whole meeting. More details at www.chesilradio.com. There we go.
While we're at it, I'd like to give a shout out to the father of James Pearson, because he got in contact with me last week and said, we need to know anything.
I was getting read them when you said that.
If we need to know anything, then just get in touch. So a big shout out, and oh boy, will we get in touch.
Oh, yes.
Listens to the show from Australia.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, Simon Pitchford talking about Mildenhall here. I went to Mildenhall versus Bellevue on Sunday. I'm no expert, but the track looked dodgy. There were lots of crashes in the first 5 or 6 heats. 2 Mildenhall riders got injured and pulled out of the meeting. There was then about 6 heats in which Mildenhall could only field 1 rider. It wasn't a good advert for the sport. I mean, we've all been to matches like that.
You've been to Mildenhall, haven't you?
I have been to Mildenhall. It's a very tight little track, but it's always seemed to produce good racing.
Don't they have the stock cars on it as well? Yeah, so I don't know whether that's maybe causing a problem.
It has caused problems for them as well. I haven't been there since they've had to have an air fence.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's like, but it was before it was bang. It was solid.
tiny guys.
Yeah, it is very tiny. Okay, I mean, thanks for that. If anybody else got any opinions on that?
Start a bit down.
Okay, so we've just had. I'll read the lot. We've just had is it a text message?
Text, sir.
Hi Chris, my name is Andy Hawthorne. I've been given your number by Rob Dyer. Blah 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 blah. To get in touch, speak to you, and get some coverage and publicity for the ARH Heathens Shale racing team, who are racing on the Isle of Wight this Thursday in the second leg of the Michael Richardson Trophy 3-team tournament. I'm the team manager, organiser, funder of the Heathens, which I've done to keep the Cradley name alive. Rob thought I may be able to do a telephone interview. However, I will be refereeing how I raise the funds for the team. Then when you go on air. However, I'd be grateful if you gave us a plug.
There you
There
go.
you
There
go.
you go.
And maybe we can ring him up at a later date and get an interview on the phone.
Yeah.
And we can broadcast it. That might be interesting. Duncan Pemberton, this is interesting. I read an interesting article in which boxing fans were asked if there was a Mount Rushmore monument built on a cliff, who would be the 4 you would have? I think everybody knows what Mount Rushmore is, don't they?
Yep.
Give me a thought of who you would want if there was a Speedway equivalent. Mine would be Craven, Major, Olsen and Rickardson.
What a great question. We need to put that out, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a good question.
Interesting that it's just Speedway riders that... There's certain promoters that you might want to...
Johnny Hoskins.
Johnny
of course,
Hoskins,
the obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you might want an alternative one as well, for the worst. Well, not necessarily the worst, but the ones you don't.
You certainly got to have Ivan Major, haven't you?
You've got to have, I would say, you've got to have 2 that you've definitely got to have, are Ivan Major and Barry Briggs. Mm-hmm. Tony Rickardsson, obviously, as well as, one of only 2 riders to have won 6 world championships. Peter Craven, not iconic. He's the one rider that I would love to have seen race from the past. Doesn't even necessarily need to be world champions, does he? You could have the late great Kelly Moran, maybe.
Yeah, that's another good one because with his style, that would make a great little carving. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Plymouth 20, Oxford 22 after 7 heats.
That was about 12 minutes ago, so
Yeah.
it may. Well, it probably has changed a bit by now.
Could really do with Oxford not beating Plymouth. Denmark, Poland, GB in that order, says Simon Corbett. I would take that.
Yeah, well, Poland, of course, haven't won this competition, have they? So
They never have. Yeah.
It's obviously the one thing that's missing. from
Voyens might not be their track.
Possibly not, although the Polish riders seem to be able to turn their hands on most tracks, really, don't they? So,
And Spuddy says, it makes me wonder how Sam Masters still isn't being picked in the Aussie team. I know Holder and Frick are GP riders, but for me Sam Masters is the best Aussie, certainly in British Speedway, behind Doyle. The fact Sam wasn't even in the 5-man squad reaffirms my opinion Mark Lemon is a clown, says Dylan Spuddy Hodge, it's not me.
he does listen to the show, by the way, Lemon, so.
And doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
Oh dear.
Well, it's certainly an opinion. I don't know. You've seen more of Sam Masters than I have.
Yeah, he has come on well in the last couple of years. It's I suppose the one thing I would say about Sam is his form on the continent. Maybe
That's actually been exactly what Simon Corbett has pointed out.
Yeah.
And why is Matty Zager riding for Slovenia? Answers on a postcard.
Has he retired from International Speedway? I mean, he rode in the Grand Prix, didn't he? He rode as a wild card, so although it was the Croatian Grand Prix, and that's not Slovenia. So
I don't know. For me, I'd start with Bewley and Lambert for GB2 and have Waffy at 3. Big call, but this season certainly Lambert and Bewley are in better form than Waffy on the world stage.
it's 30 apiece at Plymouth, by the way.
Okay,
So
that's a close
really,
match.
Really tight one.
That's
after
surprised
10.
the hell out of me.
That's
That
after
has.
10 heats. Yeah.
That's really surprised me. Zagar is Slovenian, says Jeff Daniel.
Yeah, Simon's just given us the Danish team, by the way. Madsen, Mikkelsen and Thompson. That's a strong side. Very strong side.
Okay, thank you for that. Doyle is absolutely, yeah. Frick is hit and miss. The fact Sam didn't even make the squad is the shocking part, said Spuddy. I mean, I guess that he's got a point there.
It's a busy old show, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Well, it's a busy time, really, isn't it?
Nicola says, thank you for the, it is for the shout out. 9 heats gone at Plymouth and been 8 5-1s between the two teams. Wow. That's got to be a record, isn't it, for it to be all square and there's been that number of 5-1s.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. So
Rich Thomas says his carvings would be Major, Briggs, Collins and Stenland.
very young says Ove funding as well. You've got to put
Yeah,
funding in,
Ove
definitely,
Funding's
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. If I was pick riders I'd watch live, it'd be Jason Crump, Darcy Ward, Thomas Golub and Nicky Pedersen. could call it Mount Entertainment.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
not to mention, Masters has got a gammy foot at the moment,
Oh, of course, yeah.
so that might have something to do with
And there
that.
you go. We've
That'd
caught up.
up.
Wow.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't
40
it?
minutes.
That'd be quite interesting having a statue of Nicky Pedersen somewhere, wouldn't it? I'm sure there'd be a few people who'd be making a pilgrimage to that.
Yeah, somebody would be paid overtime for cleaning that one, wouldn't they? Do you want the job, Chris?
Yeah, I'll do it for you. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we should look at
Our league table.
Yep, I don't want to because I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
Am I still in 17th or have I?
No, you're in
so-
17th.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've.
I do better when I don't do anything.
I don't think I've updated it. Sorry. I don't think. I think that's an old one. I'll have a quick look.
dear.
But is that an old one?
Well, you've gone down to 5th position.
Yeah, that's
in
from
that,
2 or
so-
3 weeks ago.
Oh, I
that is.
thought it was.
So-
Yeah. Well, I'll forget that then.
Okay, we won't. Shall we just get on with?
We have
Yeah.
I have posted the table
I know,
on,
yeah,
the,
yeah,
on
sorry,
the Facebook page.
Do you
wanna-
happen to know by memory who's leading?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a silly
Have a
question, isn't
guess.
it?
Have a guess.
Okay,
Only by about 4 points though.
still so it's still
Ben's obviously close. Ben's 4 points behind him, so
Yeah.
yeah.
still very close amongst that top 4
I
or 5.
think
so.
I'm down to 5 or 6 now. I don't know.
6.
6. Well, couldn't you just say 5? Because nobody can see it.
I didn't hear about that. There's rumours of Clint going to Lynn at number
I've
1.
seen something like that. Yeah.
Is it a little too late for them though?
I suppose I don't know whether it's to be seen to be making the change. I don't. They're not going to get in the top 6 now.
No,
Top 4
Top
even.
4, yeah.
Well, they're in the top 6 anyway. There's only 6 teams in the league, so
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
it is indeed.
Okay, shall we start looking at?
Well, I've got the fixtures in front
yeah.
of me.
So those of you that are listening for the first time, we do our prediction, Nigel Pearson Prediction League every week. Join in, and you'll probably beat me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get, or is
After
it 2
1 week?
points for a
2
win?
points for 2 points for getting the exact score right, and a point for getting the result right.
Okay, there you go.
So your first one
Okay,
is Birmingham against Poole.
who's to go first? Can anybody remember who went first last week? It's 2 weeks ago, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
On you go first.
I'm going to say Birmingham by 4. And a really cracking match. Get yourself down there. It's going to be great. That's up to you then.
I've gone Poole by 12 on that one.
I'm having words with you later.
I'm going to go Poole by 10.
Wow.
You're not threatening to have words with him, I know.
No, he's been boxing, he has.
I'm too far away.
I'm not stupid. I'm going to get him to have words with you. Okay, next one.
Oxford against Plymouth.
Oxford against Plymouth, and that's up to you.
I've gone Oxford by 4.
Well, given their performance tonight,
I'll go Oxford by 8.
I'll say Oxford by 6. Just to be in the middle of you two, because that's my favourite place.
Okay. Next up, Scottish Derby, Edinburgh against Glasgow.
How do they normally go? Either way, tight.
They're usually quite tight affairs, aren't
Yeah, well,
they?
Edinburgh have won at Glasgow, I think, this season, so...
I think that's up
It's
to
up
me,
to
isn't
you,
it?
Chris,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's up to me. Ooh, I think I'll go for a home win, Edinburgh by 8.
I think Glasgow are the strongest team I've seen at Perry Bar this year,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say Glasgow by 4.
But to be fair, I do think Edinburgh are stronger than Birmingham were, so... I've gone Edinburgh by 10 on that one.
Okay,
Next up is Scunthorpe against Redcar.
Scunny versus Redcar. I'll say Scunthorpe by 6. You go.
I've gone Scunthorpe by 12 on that one.
Okay.
Where do I? I think I'll go Scunthorpe by 14.
Okay.
Poole against Birmingham is the next one on Friday.
Chris?
Yeah.
No, sorry. Not Chris.
No, it's not.
It's Matt.
Matt, yeah.
I've gone Pool by 22.
I'll go Pool by 18.
Very difficult because we don't really know who the guests are going to be at this moment, do we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Pool by 18 as well.
It's 2 people have got you.
I hope I'm not right.
Leicester against Redcar is the next one.
Leicester versus Redcar. That's up to you, Chris.
I think I'll go Leicester by 6.
Leicester by 12.
I've gone Leicester by 14. On that one.
You've got a few here. Dylan Spuddy says Leicester by 10. Rich Thomas says Paul by 22. And Leicester by 20 for Simon Corbett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Beric against Glasgow is the next one.
Beric versus Glasgow. And that's down to me, isn't it? I'm going to say Glasgow by 10.
Same. Glasgow by 10.
I'll go Glasgow by 16.
Okay, everybody seems to be agreeing. We've got a Glasgow by 2 is the closest.
Yep.
That's Spuddy.
Okay. Then we've got the second Scottish derby of the weekend, Glasgow against Edinburgh.
Up to me, is it?
It is, yes.
Glasgow.
No, it's not. It's up to Matt.
Up to Matt.
I've gone Glasgow by 10. Reversal of the meeting on Friday.
I'll go Edinburgh by 6.
I'm going to say Glasgow by 12. Did you really say Edinburgh by 6?
Yeah.
They have
When?
won at Glasgow before this season, so
Okay.
I'm looking for that one where everybody laughs at me and then next week they go, bloody hell.
okay.
Like the last time.
Now into
Yeah.
the National League for the next one. It's Millsnall against Kent.
And that's up to you, Chris.
That's me, isn't it? I'll go Mildenhall by 6.
I'll say Kent by 6.
I've gone Kent by 4. Right, the next one is the British final. We are going to do this, aren't we? We're going to just pick the winner, or
Let's just pick the winner, and we'll pick. Why not? Are we going to have it as a result?
yep,
Okay. Okay. So, Dan Bewley.
yeah, I've gone down Bewley as well.
Who's in it again?
Dan Bewley.
I think I might go for...
I mean, Danny
You've
Kings.
got Danny King, obviously a former winner. Adam Ellis, of course,
Adam
defending
Ellis,
champion.
yeah.
I'm going to copy the next person that comes up. Dan Bewley.
Charles Wright, obviously.
Charles
former
Wright,
winner.
yeah, he's
so
a former winner. as well.
Everybody's going for Bewley.
Tom Brennan might be a bit of a surprise packet. Certainly wouldn't rule him out as a potential shot winner.
No.
He's had a really
it's
good season. Of course, he's riding in the SGB Tour at Cardiff on the day after the main Grand Prix, so that'll give him a boost as well. And of course, he knows Bellevue inside out.
Like
so,
the back of his hand. Where did that spot come from?
Yeah.
Okay. The old ones are the best. Who
Next,
we got next?
penultimate one, Plymouth against Birmingham. That's going to be on
Chris,
the while we do
Chris, what does penultimate mean?
The one with the pen.
Okay, it was Plymouth versus who?
Birmingham. You know what they are, don't you, sir?
It's up to you, dear boy.
I've gone Plymouth by 10 on that one.
Again, it's difficult because we don't know what the guests are going to be.
Yeah.
I'll go Plymouth by 16.
I'm going to be really stupid and say Birmingham by 2. I'm 17th position. What have I got to lose?
And finally, Oxford against Poole next Tuesday.
Oxford, they were a better team than I thought they was going to be last week,
Yeah.
particularly the way they started. Having said that, it's up to you, Chris.
Okay. I'll go Oxford by 10.
I'm going to say Poole by 6.
You just made me say that, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're playing psychological games, in there, aren't you?
I've gone Poole by 8.
Oh, God! I hate you two.
I love it when a plan works.
But it might be reverse psychology.
Should we do the Speedway Nations as well?
Yeah, go
Top
on.
3 or
Go on then, yeah.
Just the winner.
just the winner?
Winner.
Okay. Down to me again. Speedway of Nations. I'm going to say.
Should we say? Do we just the normal 2 points, or do we say 4 points?
Yeah, do it a 4 pointer. It gives somebody else a chance who's low down like Mike to gain a few points.
No, it needs to be about 40 points, I think, for him. So
Why don't we make it a 10 pointer?
I'm going to say.
Oh, that'll be.
no, I go for 4 points.
I'm going to say Australia. Just because, again, I don't think anybody else is going to pick Australia.
Australia. No, I'm not picking them. I'm going to.
It's not your go anyway.
Oh, right, okay, good, because that was just guessing.
Poland, they've got to win it at some point. Haven't they? Poland. That and you look at that time.
But how long did it take them to win the World Team Cup? A long time.
It did.
So why won't GB win it?
They could win it. I mean, Elliot Hunt said GB.
Yeah.
Spuddy
Okay.
said Poland.
Simon
Simon
Denmark,
said
so-
Denmark. I mean, it is that sort of a, you know.
Okay, I'm going to go GB. Be a bit patriotic and go GB.
Good man.
Be GB.
Well done.
Hope you're right. Really do hope you're right.
Yeah, I really hope you're right.
And me.
And I really hope if it does happen that we get out there and shout about it,
Yeah.
you know, in the media.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say if we do win it, everyone listening now, get your pens out and write to whatever your favourite or unfavourite rag is.
Get your flags out, hang them out the window and things like that. So people go past and go, what's that? What's that for? Let's put a brick through the window.
Well, in Glasgow, even. Or
Yeah.
Yeah. What we should do.
Big Polish move for Zmarzlik next season, leaving Gorzo for Lubin.
Dublin, yep.
A move which will make transfer merry-go-round in Poland next season. I mean, of course, Poland have said that next year they're not going to do this thing where they can only race for so many teams. Don't know whether I believe them yet, but it would be good for British Speedway, I think, if they didn't. You might get a few more riders coming back, possibly
Hope so, yeah.
Dan Bewley, possibly Robert Lambert.
Yeah.
I don't think Ty's interested.
Certainly, I think as long as Ty's still in the GPs, I think it's unlikely that he'll come back to the UK, but you never know.
So, and the next GP is Cardiff. That's August the 13th.
August the 13th.
If anybody wants to buy me a birthday present.
As you know, I know nothing about Speedway. I've been following the Speedway in the USA, particularly one where it's under the roof, but the track looks really small. Is that a normal
that's
thing?
normal for
That's
America.
normal.
Is that
for,
normal?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
normal
right,
for
okay.
America. They're very.
Long Beach was quite a big track, wasn't it? Of course, they don't use it now for Speedway, but
Is Costa Mesa still used?
Costa Mesa's about the size of this room, I think. So,
I mean, I've got to admit, it looked
so-
really exciting, but the track looked really small. And I thought, wonder if that's just the camera angles. But
no, you
but
certainly
no.
need good throttle control in.
Yeah, I
on
think the
American
new.
track now,
I think
so.
the lay down bikes don't lead themselves for those that really ultra small track as
Yeah.
perhaps the old type did, and which might be a part of the reason why they're not making headways the way they used to.
I've got to admit, the crowds look fabulous.
Well, they sell the damn thing, don't they?
Well, it's a lot. Well, it's not like British Speedway, to be fair, because it's basically done as a fun thing. You know, there's no league system there or anything like that. It's basically just
As Simon Corbett is pointing out here, Bobby Schwartz rode in the Cali State Final, age 75.
Oh my!
So yeah, it's different.
There's hope for you yet.
No, there's not.
No, there isn't. No. But no, it did look. It looked like it was played in some sort of huge barn.
probably was, to be honest.
Yeah. I probably had line dancing afterwards.
Yeah.
Really hope Bewley and Lambert come back next season. Doyle stays here, allowing some of the top riders coming back. They either need to scrap the team building points limit or at least increase it for Premiership teams. Oh, I'm going to get on my hobby horse.
I'd like to
on
see
then.
more teams in the Premiership for a start.
I'm going to get on my
Riders.
hobby horse now.
Okay.
There is absolutely no nearly said a bad word then. There is absolutely no point whatsoever in changing points limits up, down, whatever. It should be at 42.5 and that's it. 42.5, if everybody rides to their average, gives you a 45 draw. You can't be more even than that. If you make it above that, then people are going to have averages that are compressed. If you make it below that, people are going to have inflated averages, and it makes a mockery of team building from that point. If it's not 42.5, it's got no chance of working, and we see that from year after year after year. And it's got to be 42.5 year after year after year, so it all averages out, and people are getting the average that they're supposed to be. I'm off my hobby horse now.
Is it a hobby horse or is it a high horse?
It's a high hobby horse.
Okay.
There you go.
You got any views on that, Matt?
Not really. No, in fairness, it's the logical one to do, isn't it? Because 45.
And the logic is to keep it the same, because otherwise you're moving goalposts all over the place. How are people getting representative averages? If you make the average lower, that means that people are not riding against averages particularly high at any one time or other, and their averages become possibly bigger than they should be.
Yeah. It would help, to be fair, I think, if people actually put the good of the sport instead of their own agendas.
Exactly
forward.
right.
I think that causes a lot of problems in Speedway. We've talked about that so many times in the past, haven't we? So
it's why you need
It wouldn't,
a Supremo to come
It
in
wouldn't
and
work at all if averages were scrapped. I'm just asking the question.
Unless obviously, as I say, they had rider grading in 2004 for a season.
there needs to be some form of rider control, otherwise it's going to be like football. Manchester United gets all the best players, or
Well, not at the moment.
Not at the moment, but or Manchester City, or whoever's got the latest oligarch.
Yeah. They could do it like
which
they do
wouldn't
in
work in
America,
Speedway, which would kill Speedway. It
Right.
works in football because of the amount of money that they've got, but we haven't got that. Alfie Botel's being a surprise package this season for me.
He
Been
rode well last
fantastic
week,
for
didn't
Plymouth.
he?
We ought to. What's the score going on at Plymouth? We ought to take a look at that.
Well, it's been a busy old show, hasn't it?
It really has.
Very busy, and that's really flown by. We have to say thank you to
33 at
33. I wouldn't have picked that at all. The other important match, we should say, it's half-time England versus Sweden in the Euros, and it's 1-0 to England.
Good.
One foot in the final.
Very good. Very good. So we need to say thanks to everybody who's participated this evening.
Yes, it's been brilliant.
They've made it a really enjoyable show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you all next week. I guess we're at that time now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be celebrating a GB win.
Yeah, we've obviously got the British final to review as well.
And we'll have the new British champion to talk about. Might even go and watch that. Take care, everyone. See you soon.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay.